Hello guys, welcome to the third video related to the variance analysis. In the first video, we talked about the difference between static and flexible budget, and we also discussed there the concept of the variance analysis. In the second video, we discussed how to calculate the variance for the material cost. So in this video today, we are going to look at how to calculate the variance for direct labor. As we know, if you want to calculate the cost of any product, so we need to write their labor labor cost. And how we write the labor cost, we need a labor hours, and we multiply with the rate for each hour. So that is why the variance could arise either due to change in hours or due to change in rate for each hour. So that is why the direct labor flexible budget variance can be divided into two sections. The variance could arise due to change in price or rate, or the variance could arise due to the efficiency of the labor. It is also called quantity or usage or efficiency variance. Direct labor rate variance, actually it is the difference between actual rate and the standard rate. This direct labor rate variance, also called pay rate variance, or it is also called payroll variance. So the direct labor rate variance we can further divide into two sections. So your direct labor rate variance, either it could be favorable or it could be unfavorable, as you can see here. Favorable rate variance occurs when our actual rate is less than standard rate, and standard rate is also called budgeted rate. And following could be the reasons for favorable rate variance. The first reason could be maybe the employment of unskilled workers at low rates might have caused less payments for the wages. The second reason could be there may be more availability of labor force, and there is a chance of being payment of low rate wages. As we know, if there is a more supply of the labor, maybe they might be working at low rate also. The third is what, the sometime we are also offering the incentives to the labor, and these incentives are the cost to the company. So if company has withdrawn the incentive, so this could result in the favorable rate variance as well. Unfavorable rate variance occurs when actual rate is greater than standard rate. So this could result in unfavorable rate variance, and the following could be the possible reasons. Number one reason could be the employment of more efficient and skilled labor force. Maybe if you will deploy the more efficient labor, so they will demand higher rates of wages. So this could result in unfavorable rate variance. And the second reason may be the sometime there may be a non-availability of labor force, but they are demanding higher rate of wages. As we know, if there is a shortage of anything, prices goes up. The third is maybe the workers are allowed to work overtime. If overtime allowance is more than the normal time rate, more wages will be paid to the workers, and this could result in unfavorable rate variance. The fourth reason, maybe we have increased wages rate due to the agreement signed with the trade union. You know, sometimes we fix the wages rate with the labor union, so you cannot deviate, you cannot run from the agreement, so you have to pay according to the agreement. So maybe you have agreed the higher rate than standard, so this could be the result of unfavorable rate variance. And the fifth reason, maybe the higher rate of wages may be paid during seasonal or emergency operation. Maybe sometimes we need labor in season and maybe in emergency. So at that time, maybe we are ready to pay more to the wages. So maybe that is why maybe our actual rates are greater than standard rate. So this could be result in unfavorable rate variance. Now we are going to look at the second part of the labor cost variance, which is called direct labor efficiency variance. It is also called usage variance or the quantity variance. Actually, it is the difference between actual labor hours and standard labor hours. And you know, the standard labor hours are those hours that should have been used for actual level of the production. So most of the people, they might make a mistake here, so you should remember how to calculate the actual labor hours. So actual labor hours are always equal to actual output multiplied by actual hours per unit. And if you want to calculate the standard labor hours that should have been used, how we will calculate? We will take actual output multiplied by standard hours per unit. Standard hours are also called budgeted hours. And favorable efficiency variance occurs when your actual labor hours are less than standard labor hours, and the unfavorable rate variance occurs when actual labor hours are greater than standard labor hours. As we know, if our actual labor hours are less than standard labor hours, so this is called favorable efficiency variance, and following could be the possible reasons. Number first, it means that employees are working efficiently and have been able to complete the production in fewer hours than anticipated. So this could be the reason of favorable efficiency variance. Second, maybe it could be the effect of learning curve. As you know, through the as per learning curve theory, as the labor or employees gain experience in the repetitive work, so their time to produce the next units will reduce. So this could be the effect of learning rate. Maybe that is why, due to the learning experience, so maybe we took less actual hours than standard hours. The number third reason may be the hiring of more high skilled labor. So this may adversely affect the labor rate variance. Don't forget, because if you will hire the skilled labor, so more skilled labor, you have to pay more for that. So this could result the labor rate variance in adverse. Okay, or you can say you will get the adverse labor rate variance. The number four, the use of better quality raw material which are easier to handle. So of course, if you are buying high quality material, so maybe it will become easy for the laborers to handle. So this could result in favorable efficiency variance. Unfavorable efficiency variance occurs when our actual labor hours are greater than standard labor hours, and following could be the reason. Number one, it may be caused by using worker with less skills than anticipated. So that is why they are taking more time, because they are not skilled. Second reason, maybe we are using material with the low quality that require extra time in the production process, because it is maybe not easy to handle. Number third, maybe the lower learning curve achieved during the period than anticipated in the standard. So these could be the result of unfavorable efficiency variance. Now we are gonna to look at the calculation of the labor variance. We have a two alphabets. We have a alphabet A and S. So we will make three possible combination to drive the formula. So what we will do, first combination is what? A times A. Second combination could be A times S, and the third combination is S times S. So don't forget, this is just the combination, because I'm using this combination to drive the formula. So the first column represent the hours and the second column represent the rate. For example, if you will look at here, A times A mean to say actual hours multiplied by actual rate. So second line is actual hours multiplied by standard rate, and the third line is standard hours multiplied by standard rate. So this is what three lines we will drive here. So first line is what? We have an actual hours times actual rate, and second line is what? Actual hours times standard rate. This is what we will write it here. Actual hours times standard rate. This is not the actual, actually it should be the standard rate. And the third line is standard hours times standard rate. So you will take it standard hours times standard rate. So guys, here you need to remember how to calculate the actual hours. So just remember here, I told you before as well. So if you want to calculate actual hours, what you will do, we will take actual output multiply by actual hours per unit. Same here, the same formula we will repeat it here also, because in the second line we also need actual hours, but in the third line we need a standard hours that should have been used for the actual level of production. And how you will calculate the standard hour, we will take actual output multiply by standard hours per unit. Standard hours per unit is also called budgeted hours. So once you will multiply actual hours with the actual rate, you will get one answer here. And if once you will multiply actual hours with the standard rate, you will get second answer here. So the third line is, once you will multiply standard hours multiply by standard rate, you will get first third line answer here. If you will look at the first two lines, so if you will look at the first two lines, there is no difference between hours, but there is a difference between the rate, actual rate and standard rate. That is why the difference of first two lines is called rate variance. But if you will compare the last two lines, which is second and third, you will look at here, there is the actual hours and standard hours, and here is the difference. And the standard rate and standard rate, here is no difference, so it means it's a difference of hours. That is why it's called efficiency variance. So this note is really important, as I told you, to drive the formula. Let's go to the formula now. So we have actually two formulas. We have a price or rate variance and quantity usage or efficiency variance. For the price or the rate variance, we will take the difference of first two lines, and the first two lines was actual hours into actual rate, and actual hour times standard rate. So the difference of these two lines will result in variance. If the answer of the first line is higher and the answer of the second line is lower, this variance will be unfavorable because your actual rate is greater than standard rate. But if the answer of the first line is lower and the answer of the second line is higher, this could result in the favorable variance. Why? Because your actual rate is lower than standard rate. So same way, if you want to calculate the quantity usage or efficiency variance, so we will take the difference of second line and the third line. The second line was actual hours into standard rate, and the third line was standard hours into standard rate. So if you will get the difference of these two lines, of course it would result in variance. If the first line is higher, I mean to say, if this answer is higher and the second answer is lower, this will be unfavorable. Why? Because your actuals are greater than standard hours. But if this answer is lower and the second answer is higher, this will result in favorable variance. Why? Because your actual hours are less than standard hours. Guys, sometime what you will do, if you want to calculate the total labor variance directly, so what we will do, so we will take the difference of the first line and the third line. So if you will go back, just check it here. So we have a first line which is actual hours multiplied by actual rate, and we have a third line which is standard hours multiplied by standard rate. Now you can look at here, so there is a difference in hours as well, and there is a difference in rate as well. So if you will take the difference of the first line and the last line, you will also get the total direct labor variance. But if you want to calculate in detail, so what you can do, you can calculate the price or rate variance plus minus quantity or usage variance. So this will also give you total variance for direct labor. And don't forget, quantity variance is the responsibility of the production department. Now we are just going to look at the questions, how we can apply through the questions. So stay with me. Before moving to the question, this note is really important. Sometime in exam, maybe you will not be provided with the standard rate data in the question. If standard rate is not given, so we can apply these two formulas to calculate the standard rate. The first formula to calculate the standard rate is we will take the budgeted or standard total labor cost in dollars divided by budgeted or standard total labor hours. I mean to say budgeted cost divided by budgeted hours, or the standard cost divided by standard hours. So you will get the standard rate. Second formula to calculate the standard rate is, what we will do, we will take efficiency variance in dollar divided by difference between actual or the standard hours. Sometimes straight away you will be provided in the question with the efficiency variance, the quantity variance. So that variance we will divide with the difference between actual hours and the standard hours. So you will get the standard rate. Don't forget. Now let's move to the question. So we have here question number 1. You can look at here. We have a one company, and the company estimated output for the period of 18,000 units. So you can see this is the estimated, so it means it's a budgeted output. However, the actual output was 16,500 units. So this is the actual level of production. Standard direct labor was estimated at 3 hours per unit. This is the standard hours, but the actual usage was to 3.25 hours per unit. This is the actual usage of hour. The standard rate was 5.5. This is the standard rate for each hour, but the actual rate was $6. The direct labor variance are calculated as follow. Now we are just going to look how we can calculate the rate variance and the quantity variance both together. To calculate both variance, what we need to do, just we need to draw first those three lines which just we have learned. So actual hours multiplied by actual rate, then we will take actual hour multiplied by standard rate, and then we will take standard hours multiplied by standard rate. So how you need to calculate the actual hours? Actual hours, how you will calculate, you will take the actual level of the production, which is 16,500 unit. It is given in the question here. You will multiply with the actual hours per unit, and actual per hours per unit is 3.25. So if you will multiply these two, you will get actual hours, which is 53,625 hours. We will multiply with the actual rate, and actual rate is given here, which is $6. Second line, we have actual hours times standard rate, and actual hours we will same whatever we have calculated above, same value we will place it here, and we need to multiply just with the standard rate. And standard rate, you can see the question, the standard rate was $5.5. This is what we will put it here. So the third line is what we need to calculate. We need to calculate the standard hours. And standard hours, how you will calculate standard hours, you will always calculate for the actual level of output, which is 16,500 unit. You can see here, multiply by standard hour. Standard hour was 3 hours for each unit. It is given here, you can see. So if you will multiply actual output with the budgeted time, you will get standard hours, which is 49,500 hours, and this you will multiply with the standard rate, which is 5.5. So what we did now, actual hours time actual rate, you will get one value. Then actual hours multiplied by standard rate, you will get another value. Then standard hours multiplied by standard rate, you will get the third value. So the difference of the first two line, which is this one and this one, so this is called rate variance. If you will take the difference, the difference is $26,812, and it will be unfavorable. Why? Because your actual cost is higher than standard rate, or actual rate is higher than standard rate. In other words, if your answer of the first line is higher and the second line is lower, so this will result in unfavorable variance. Now if you want to calculate the quantity variance, what you need to do, you need to take the difference of last two lines. So the difference of last two line is 22,688. How you got? You need to take the second line answer, which is 294,938 dollars, and the third line is we have a $272,250. So if you will take the difference will be $22,688, and this will be again unfavorable. Why? Because here your first line is higher than second. So this is the first, this is the second. So if it is higher, so this is unfavorable. So if you want to calculate the total labor variance, what we can do, we can just net off the price variance, I mean to say rate variance, with the quantity, I mean to say efficiency variance. So you can get the total variance, or you can take the difference of the first line and the last line. So this would result in the total labor variance. Now we are going to move to the second question just to see the difficulty level of the questions. So for example, we have a question number 2 here. Let's assume they're telling you we have a ABC company manufacturing the machines for hospital. The direct labor standard for the assembling and testing the machine is 2.5 hours at $8 per hour. Don't forget, this is the standard data. Okay, so then we have a budgeted production for the April is 1,200 machines, but the actual production during the month was 1,000 machines, and actual direct labor cost was $27,840, and actual labor hours were 3,200 hours, and you are required to calculate here what is the direct labor rate variance. And as I told you, labor rate variance is the difference of the first two line, which is actual hours multiplied by actual rate and actual hours multiplied by standard rate. So how you can do here, so guys, as you can see here, you are provided with the actual labor cost here, which is $27,840. So it means this is the answer of the first line, because if you look at the first line, it is actual hours multiplied by actual rate. So it means it's an actual labor cost, which is straight away given in the question, so you can put it here. But if still you want to calculate, you want to apply this component, so how you can do it? So you will take actual hours, which is 3,200, which is given here, and you will multiply with the actual rate. And actual rate for each hour, how you can calculate? You need this labor cost divided by the actual hours. Okay, so you have an actual labor cost of $27,840, so you will divide with the actual hours, so you will get automatically rate for each hour, which is actual, which is $8.7. If you will multiply this time this, again you will get the straight away this answer. And by the way, it is given in the question as an actual labor cost. Now just you need to calculate the second line, which is actual hours multiplied by standard rate. And as you can see, actual hours are given. You can look at here 3,200. Just you need to multiply with the standard rate, which is $8 for each hour given in the question. So if you will multiply these two values, so you will get $25,600. Now you can see here first line is higher and second line is lower. You can see here. So what you will get? You will get unfavorable variance for the rate, which is $2,240. Now we are going to perform a little bit more technical question, which is question number 3. Please stay with me. So we have a question number 3 here. They are telling you we have a direct labor cost for September or as follow. This is the data which is given. So we have an actual direct labor hours, which is 32,000 hours. This is actual, don't forget. We have a standard direct labor hours. You know, standard direct labor hours, how you can calculate? You will take actual output multiply by standard hours per unit. But by the way, here directly it is given, which is 33,600 hours. Then we have a direct labor rate variance. So you are given, you are provided with the rate variance and it is favorable, and the answer is $6,720. So then you have a standard direct labor rate per hour, which is $5.04, and you are required to calculate the direct labor payroll for the month of September. Guys, don't forget, when they will ask you to calculate direct labor payroll, it means they are asking you to calculate the actual labor cost. And actual labor cost you can get from the first line. Okay, so it means you can apply here rate variance formula. Why? Because the rate variance answer is also given, and you have to calculate the actual labor cost, which is called direct labor payroll. So for the rate variance, we will put the formula here, which is first two lines. So we have an actual hours multiplied by actual rate, and we have an actual hours multiplied by standard rate. Guys, this is not easy. Okay, so what we need to do first, we will write here variance, because this answer favorable variance is given $6,720, which is favorable, and it is given into the question. But the question is that actual hours are also available. You can see here, so I will put it here, actual hours multiply by standard rate, which is second line. So standard rate is also available. So if I will multiply actual hours with the standard rate, so I can get this value as well, which is 161 $280. And this information we need to calculate it here. This information we need to calculate it here. Why? Because actuals are provided, but actual rate is not provided. So that is why first we need to get this information. So as you can see, when variance are favorable, if first line is lower and second line is higher, then variance is becoming favorable. So it means we have to reach from higher to lower. So what we will do, we will take simply just the difference of second line and the answer of the variance. If you will take the difference of these two value, you will automatically reach to this value, which is $154,560. Actually, this is the answer, which is called direct labor payroll. Okay, so this is the answer. But guys, here you need to think, maybe if he could also ask you to calculate the actual rate. So if he's asking you to calculate the actual rate, so this question will become more complex, because you are provided with the rate variance answer. So we calculated this value also. If you will take the difference, so we will get the answer of the first line. So what we need to do here, this answer divided by actual hours, so you will automatically get the actual rate. So which is maybe we can just divide 154,560 divided by 3,200 hours. So actual rate will be 4 point like $4.83. This will be the actual rate, and actual hours were 32,000. Okay guys, so I hope everything is clear. If you have any question, you can ask me through the comment section. If you really like the video, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. See you next time with the new video. See you next time guys. Bye bye, take care.